Its landscape is torn, colorful, convoluted, sometimes upside down, and even comical.
Well, I just call it a bird.
Though it's called the slick rock country, the distinctive sandstones are anything but slippery. However, it is the perfect place for a geological road trip in some of the most spectacular terrain in the world.
Funding for The Desert Speaks was provided by Desert Program Partners, representing concerned viewers making a financial commitment to the education about and preservation of deserts, and by the Stonewall Foundation.
She wasn't a child. The Colorado Plateau in the American Southwest is renowned for sandstone hard and smooth enough to be called slick rock. It's especially abundant in southeastern Utah, where erosion and underground forces have combined to produce strange shapes and colossal forms unlike anywhere else. For my purposes, slick rock country actually begins in northern Arizona, not far from the Four Corners. It's part of the 100,000 square miles of the American Southwest, known as the Colorado Plateau. Slick rock is spectacular from above, but if you can get down inside it, you can better understand how it all came to be, and you can have the eerie sensation of being surrounded by it in all directions. It may seem odd, but our guide into a slot canyon in Navajo country is a German expatriate. Who named Canyon X?
The original owner of the company, who is Navajo, and his family has the land user or grazing permits. Why they called it Canyon X, I'm not sure. One thing I heard was mysterious, unknown, like the X-Files. But now it's so known as Canyon X that it doesn't make sense for me to change the name.
I notice your gate is not locked. That's a good sign. That means it's fairly safe in here.
Canyon X has two canyons, an upper and a lower. The canyons are different in regards to shapes, forms, colors. We have different times when we're going to be in one or the other canyon. Paradise.
Yeah.
For some reason, this is home.
So you moved to Page.
Came originally from Germany, ended up in Southern California, and spending time up here, and finally moved to Paradise.
When's the last time you saw water here?
Last August. And it changed both canyons, upper and lower. Some years it can even happen 2 or 3 times, depending how many flash floods, if we have any flash floods. We don't see a change in the canyon walls, but we see a change in the canyon floor. It can rise up 2, 3, 5 feet, or it can get lower. This part of the canyon got wavy. The sand was washed down and up, and the lower canyon got filled in. Probably gained about between 2 and 3 feet. We're a lot lower here. It has built up, and here you can see where we used to walk before the flash flood of last August.
So if there's any cloud in the horizon to the south, it's a good idea not to, or any rain cloud, it's a good idea not to be in here.
You have to be careful, you have to listen.
Yeah.
And what we are doing is we're watching radar. If there's any sign, then we're extremely careful if to decide to go in or not. And if it's raining, then most likely we'll cancel the tour. Well, after a flood like the flood in August, we couldn't use the canyon for almost a month.
Oh, really?
Because we had standing water in the deep sections, and when it dried, it was muddy, so we couldn't walk in. The light constantly changes. Every 10-15 minutes, you turn around, walk back, it's a different picture.
How many different shades of red, light, and darkness do you have in here, Charlie?
You will pick up everything from a dark maroon color all the way down to yellow light.
So there's
And sometimes it's a play of light and shadow. It's about a quarter mile from here to the lower Canyon X. The canyon itself will narrow, open up constantly. You will get to what we call mini slot, because in one flash flood it got about 10 feet deep.
It's hotter out here than it was inside the slot. Looks like there's a doorway here.
Yep. All of a sudden the wall opens up.
Well, that is a dramatic change.
And you will feel the air conditioning again.
Entering to the chamber.
And here you see our little archway. When I first came down here about 6-7 years ago, you might have seen about 1.5 feet. Then over the years, I've seen it completely go down where I can walk through it standing up. And now over the last 1.5 years or so, it started filling back up.
Cut and fill, cut and fill.
So it's
But
always...
the rock itself, you don't see changing much, right?
No.
Very slowly. Charlie, I've been in half a dozen slot canyons, and I thought you see one, you see them all. No way. Every one has its own textures, its own folding, the light, shadows, feel. Each has a different feel to it.
And some are more narrow than others.
Well, this is about as narrow as I've been in. From Canyon X, it's only an hour's drive across the desert into another sector of slick rock country. The sandstone is not obvious, but the wind is. In the bottom of the canyons, we were protected from the unending blasts, but up on top of the Kodachrome, we experience its full fury. Now, Richard, hold on to your hat the way Mom would have told you to.
How about if I hold on to your hat?
All right, hold on to both. This is the craziest landscape I've ever seen. Now, tell me what I'm seeing.
Listen, if you lived in Kane County, you'd call this a coxcomb. Think about a chicken. Think about that wattle that comes down off his chin or behind his neck, whatever it is. Think about that jagged edge. Well, that's what this resembles.
All right, so it looks like the rooster's head. Yeah, but what are they doing tilted up on their sides? They should go all the way up and fall over.
Well, they're working their way to it. I don't think they're going to make it, but they're pretty high now. And one time, that extended all the way up. It's gone now. It's been eroded, cut through. The river cut through. The winds cut through. There's nothing left. See these fingers here?
All right.
At one time, these represent all the cliffs, and they went up like that, and my fingers got about 20 feet long now, and they went up, and they started to bend over. But right where the end of my fingers are, it finally broke off, and all that stuff washed away, and what's left are my fingers. Well, there.
Fingers, that's what's
yeah,
left.
my fingers are left, but all the stuff that was out there is gone. So now you're seeing the sediments that originally were flat were tilted up like that. Yeah. Wow.
This is great.
This is a great spot. From the air, you get to really see those landforms that you only can describe or see from the ground, but all of a sudden you see how they really go together. The water pocket fold, that long monocline that comes all the way up, and how it bends over like that, even though part of it's gone. Remember the rug that Grandma used to have down the hall? If you push that rug together and it makes a little wrinkle in the middle, if you push that rug up and you get that little bubble in the middle.
Then somebody comes around and cuts out the middle.
Yeah,
it takes years to cut out the middle.
but it stays there.
That's right.
That's kind of like the water pocket fold. The Henry Mountains were the ones that describe what's called the laccolith. A laccolith is actually an intrusive igneous thing. It's not a volcanic thing. In other words, it never reaches the surface.
Okay.
So it pushes everything
but
up.
the magma from that hot stuff pushes up and it intrudes.
That's right. The magma chamber intrudes like this into the thing, but leaves layers on top. Later on, they eroded away, but the igneous material is so hard, it stays there. Now it's forming the
So
top
that
of the
stuff
Henry
that pushed
Mountain.
up through, which would have been lava had it reached the surface, just stays there,
Correct.
hardens, and what we see is the Henry Mountains. But it changes everything around it. So you see these strange, tight knife ridges coming off and looking as if lightning struck the ground 100 billion times all around it.
Earth movement creates wonderful landscapes.
Yeah, you contrast those sharp ridges. All of a sudden, you're from the Henry Mountains over to the water pocket fold, and those are rounded edges, but they're going up at the weirdest angles, and in different colors and different layers.
Different layers, and the amazing thing is the tilt. From the ground, you don't think they are, but from the air, you realize that they are almost vertical in some places where they have been lifted up like that. How about the mass of stone that is exposed?
You can't
This is
conceive.
slick rock.
That is real slick rock, and on and I guess the farther we go north, the more the slick the rock becomes. It's just a jumble, but it's sort of the colors are more uniform. When you're down on the ground, there's a greater variety of shades. At the north end of the coxcomb, we find a basin whose name was derived from its color. Can you explain to me why this is called Kodachrome Basin?
Do you know what Kodachrome is?
Well, I think I do.
Because
I've
a
heard
lot of
it.
people don't. Times have changed.
Yeah.
You know, Kodachrome film was a standard for so long. Anyway, this was one of those great spots for people to come take pictures because of the spectacular scenery here. Bryce Canyon, Zion, Capitol Reef. Kodachrome Basin's right in the middle of that. So on their way, people stop out here, come to the state park and shoot away.
And the people coming from the east or from Europe see this, and they think that they've seen something like there's no equal on Earth.
Well, they're right.
Everything's red here, and then jumping out of the red comes this white column.
But I've never seen these before. They call these sedimentary pipes. When you first walk up, you think it's some sort of a little volcanic apparatus, but there's clearly no connection at the bottom. And the closer you get to it, you realize it's not volcanic rock. It's some sort of aggregate cemented together with possibly sand or even lime.
Could it come from something bubbling out of the ground?
Well, that's
and then
what-
everything else eroded away?
That's one of the theories.
The state of Utah had to get permission from Eastman Kodak to name this park Kodachrome State Park. The red is due to an abundance of iron oxides. Where there are a lot of iron oxides in the sandstone, the deep reds appear. Where there are very little or none, we get white or off shades of white. And it's the combination of these that bring the splendid rainbow colors to the very appropriately named Kodachrome State Park. The topography of Slick Rock country contains mountains high enough to be home to vegetation that doesn't look much like desert. This may be Slick Rock country, but this ain't Slick Rock. 9,500 on the altimeter, and we're right near the timberline, almost the end of the aspen.
This is the exposure of the Navajo sandstone on the west side of the water pocket fold. So this is after the fold is flattened out. Now we're getting these great exposures of these monuments.
The other thing is it's cold. Temperature right now, according to my calculations, are about 40 degrees.
I think you're a little hypersensitive myself.
Why
just
did you
think-
put on a jacket?
Just think if you were on the Henry Mountains up there, how cold
And
would
that's
that be?
what, about 12,000?
Yeah, it's 3,383 feet above where I am right now.
And what a difference 1,000 feet make.
Well, yeah, now we're in the pines. We're out of the. Well, I think they were aspen. They weren't alive, but
You can only have pines if they get over 18 to 20 inches of rain a year. So we know down on the bottom they'll get 7. Here they must get 15 to 25. Then up higher they'll get closer to 35.
so each one of these gets 20 inches of rain a year.
Yeah,
That's a
they just
staggering
right
amount of
here,
rain.
and then the other one gets over here, right where I'm standing. They get nothing.
What about these Douglas fir?
You know, Doug firs can grow in very, very cold but dry conditions. And that tree is probably very old. I'm going to guess it's older than you are. But they will get, Doug firs will get up to 500 years old.
So the construction of this road from Escalante to Boulder was one of the great engineering feats because essentially The whole thing was done on exposed Navajo sandstone. And I don't know how long it took. It had to take many, many years. And the road went via Calf Creek, which is one of the great spots that people travel to out here to see the wonders of this red rock. But the road was labor, physical labor, and this is before a lot of the machinery that we have now is available. So people brag about this highway.
You know, not a bad place to do it, except maybe in the winter. It gets down to what, 0 here?
Very close. Now this down here in Escalante, an actual riverbed, probably doesn't get as cold during the day because it warms up in the day. But as you know, the cold air falls down the drainage and just miserable during the night.
This is semi-desert that we're driving through here, sort of in south central Utah. It's between higher mountain ranges, so it doesn't get much rainfall at all. Probably about 7 inches would be my guess. It's, by comparison, New York is 45, so this is real desert. The rainfall usually comes in the wintertime, so it will stay green into the spring, but boy, when the hot weather comes, this place can really dry out. So there's red rock, and I know red when I see it. And then there's slick rock, and this is supposed to be slick rock country. So what's the difference between red and slick?
The difference between slick rock and red rock. What color is the rock here?
This is red.
Okay, well, I call this red rock. But slick rock usually refers to areas where for example, this Navajo sandstone is exposed on top and you can walk on it and you can drive on it. It's these big, vast, open areas where it looks inviting to walk, it looks challenging to walk on. When you look at the red rock, that's a thing of beauty. The slick rock is more of a physical appearance that invites you to participate.
Yeah, this is red. There's no question this is red. But it doesn't look very slick.
It was red till now. Now we're back on the top and it's slick.
If it's slick rock, it refers more to the texture of the surface then. So I could drive on slick rock, but there's a lot of red rock I couldn't drive on.
Probably 98% of the people that come through this country stay on the highway here because it's so visual. You get to see all this incredible country. You see the exposure of the slick rock, you see the red rock, but those that are avid outdoor people, they spend a lot of time off the road, and there are dozens and dozens of fabulous trails that take you down, typically into Escalante Canyon, but a lot of them are via circuitous routes or labyrinthine canyons. It's a place you never could see at all.
Just east lies the 100-mile-long geological cataclysm known as the Water Pocket Fold. Part of it has been set aside in Capitol Reef National Park. Flying over the Water Pocket Fold is unworldly. It looks like there's just this completely jumbled landscape.
Entering from the west, now we're going up the stratigraphic ladder, even though the stuff is almost vertical in some places here.
There's all those different colors up there. And usually the red I always associated with Navajo sandstone, but that's not as red as I've seen it elsewhere.
No, the red was a Wingate, and then it works up into the Kayenta sandstones, but then here the Navajo sandstone is this buff color, this whitish buff stuff. That's the massive Navajo sandstone. So everything we're seeing here happened way after all the depositions in the Grand Canyon. In other words, Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous, all this Mesozoic, all the dinosaur-bearing things happened after all the sediments are laid down in the Grand Canyon, all the way up to the rim.
It just seems incongruous to see almost barren rock with very little growing out of it. And down below, hey, cottonwoods.
Because you've got the Fremont River, which is one of the cutting factors that cuts right through the Water Pocket Fold here.
On the east side of this geological craziness, wind, rain, and cold temperatures have combined to produce one of the oddest and funniest landscapes anywhere, named for something we associate with Halloween. What is it that makes this unusual place, the Valley of the Goblins, so very different?
Goblin Valley used to be a muddy tidal flat during the Jurassic period.
So that's 200 million years ago.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And so this inland sea kind of oscillated in and out and deposited the mud and the sand and the silt, which eventually turned into mudstone, sandstone, siltstone.
Why do we get this weird formation It looks as if you could just push it over.
The bigger parts, the more round spherical stuff, that's the more resistant sandstone.
Okay.
So it's a little tougher.
So this muddy stuff, or this kind of clay stuff, will get eroded away more quickly than the harder sandstone.
Right, it's a lot weaker, so that's where you get the skinny parts and the pedestals.
My gosh, they look like they'd fall over right away.
Yeah, it's
That is
definitely
heavy. That's many, many, many tons.
Right, they're...
Is it okay if I touch this?
Yeah.
Well, this is soft, so this is the clay that it erodes easily.
Right.
And that is very hard. So maybe 400 years from now, this piece will flake off.
It could, it definitely could. What we see right now is only, the most recent phase in a process. So there's goblins fall down, more goblins keep eroding out of the wall back there, so.
Well, the wind today is probably 40, 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty
Does
bad.
it play any role in the erosion here?
It does, it plays a minor role. So as you can tell, this wind is picking up a
It's
bunch
eroding
of
my
sand,
face.
right? And that does wear away some of the rocks, although actually water is the biggest
It's water.
erosive force out here.
But this particular combination doesn't seem to appear with this weird goblin type stuff anywhere else.
Right, it's just really specific consistencies. It's Entrada sandstone, which is found all over Utah, but there's something about this place and the consistency of the rock here that makes the goblin-y, strange shapes.
Where else do you see it in Utah?
Arches National Park. All the arches there are actually Entrada as well, but
But there they got arches, and here you got
yeah.
goblins. So it's hard to say which is more interesting. It's really inviting. You want to climb on it, and it's fairly hard, but do visitors do much damage to the formations?
We're doing erosion studies right now, so we have these static cameras. We go back every quarter just to take pictures and see how much impact visitors are actually having.
Well, it is certainly an eerie experience for the first time. So how was it that you got interested in geology?
Well, it's hard to come out to Utah and not see this stuff and wonder how it was formed.
To Utah from where?
From Illinois.
Well, you don't have many sandstone and clay goblins in Illinois. Do you?
Yeah, a little bit less corn here.
Who was it that got to decide that these are goblins and not trolls or mushrooms?
It used to be called Mushroom Valley before it was a state park. You can kind of see if you use your imagination, these rocks really take different shapes.
And every once in a while they reach out and grab you as you go by.
I hope not.
Look at the beak here. Look at the eye.
Doesn't this make you want to be a kid and crawl through all these things?
It makes me want to be an adult and crawl through all these things. Hey, here's a hamburger. You can see the cheese in there.
Well, that'd be Swiss cheese then.
Yeah, it would. Here's the ketchup and mustard being squeezed out the end. Here's the potato they made the French fries out of. Or did they bake it first? Yeah, somebody cut the eyes out. I don't know what this is a shark from right here. With maybe a excessive growth on his back. Look, there's even the mouth. This is jaws. So I'll be respectful here. And when you get up in here, I don't see as many mammals, reptiles, or fishes. It's like Henry Moore sculptors.
Is that because you're vegetarian?
Well, I am sometimes. But this is just, this is a ham. Look at the toadstools out here.
Those aren't toadstools, those are super mushrooms.
This is a really neat place to see what the Entrada Formation looks like before the goblins emerge. They're up in there, they're waiting to be exhumed, or shall we say liberated from the stone, just like Michelangelo talked about David. Just have a few thousand years.
We're seeing the birth of the goblins. This is really what they look like before they become part of the area known as Goblin Valley. This is the Entrada Formation, and it's such a soft sandstone with variances in its density that you can see these little things waiting to be eroded away. I imagine easily 1,000 years these could be on the ground or individuals, like little totem poles perhaps, or little people stacked on top of each other, or little individual hoodoos.
If you come to Southeast Utah looking for slick rock, you'll find it, along with sand dunes, washes, cliffs, mesas, and towering mountains, all of them part of the textured palette of the Colorado Plateau. The canyon walls here are 400 to 500 feet high. Prehistoric peoples created murals on its walls. Early American settlers struggled to cross it. They discovered uranium. Modern entrepreneurs tried to extract wealth from it. Utah's San Rafael Swell is one of the most remote and least visited wonders of the desert Southwest. You can tell by the cracks inside, it's very high in clay. Next time on The Desert Speaks.
Funding for The Desert Speaks was provided by Desert Program Partners, representing concerned viewers making a financial commitment to the education about and preservation of deserts, and by the Stonewall Foundation.
This entire season of The Desert Speaks is now available as a box set of 10 episodes. To order this or other programs from Arizona Public Media, visit our website, azpm.org, or call 800-841-5923.